Hello and welcome. I have not been feeling good the past couple of days, so I thought maybe I could do a little bit of an art project to kind of help me feel better. So in a minute we'll take a look at that and see what I've got, because I did get some old-fashioned cards and I'd like to make some stuff out of them. But before we do that, I just wanted to show you some of the things I've been working on. So in 2 days, which is kind of crazy for me because usually cross stitch takes forever, I made this. So it's really cute. It's meant to be like an orange, and it's a cup and a teapot, and then it says hunt on it. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't add the steam, just because I didn't like the steam. I like the rest of it, and then I added our last name to it. So I'm gonna hang that up in my kitchen probably. I'm, like I said, pretty astounded that I somehow did that in 2 days. That's pretty wild considering my last sewing project took me like a year. So I think that just proves to me that I'm really hyper focused on art. The other thing that I've been working on is this for my mother-in-law. This is a like 3D collage, and this was made using the top of a Valentine's Day box, and the reason why she liked it is because it has all this glitter in it. So I took it, I removed it from the box, I put a backing on it, and then I just repainted it. Anything you see in glitter is stickles. A few years ago, she also gave me this, which was really cool, and she said, make me something with that someday. So it took quite a few years, but, and then if you actually look here, there's little tiny pieces of like painted paper here, here, and here, and that's papers that my son has painted. And then I just zhushed them up with other things. There's like gummy bear pens on there. There's all kinds of cute stuff, purses, because my mother-in-law is a really classy lady. And then one of my favorite things is it says, where's the camera? Right here. It says, Mom wears a crown, and this lady looks like a queen. So I really, really love that vibe. And I used a whole bunch of different stuff in it, so I think she'll really love it. The only thing I really have to do is I just have to put something to hang it up with on the back of it, which I'll probably just put like a little hanger here, and then she'll just be able to stick it to the wall. But those are some of the things that I've been working on lately that I wanted to show you. And then what I was thinking that we could do today is we could get out one of the journals and we could play with this. Over the weekend, my husband and I went to like a thrift store, and at the thrift store we found a whole bunch of like vintage cards, things like that. So I'm gonna zoom in and show you a couple of things. First, I want this to be a napkin journal page. So I found this really pretty purple and red like roses napkin I thought would look nice. And then I'm thinking of using this image right here to go behind my girl, because it has the same flowers that she does. Originally I was going to be adventurous and do this piece here. But I really don't have the proper journal I would need for that. I would need a journal where the pages actually connect, and my journals all have spirals in between them. So I'm gonna save this piece, and whenever I go to cut it out, I'll cut it out like this. You know, I'll just cut out this one square section. But originally I was planning on using that accordion part, but I'm gonna just use this part, I think. So I've got that. And what I was gonna use it for is I have this girl, and I was thinking that that would be a really beautiful headpiece, because I'd probably cut out these top flowers where it says a Mother's Day wish, and then add our fan to it to make a gorgeous like headpiece. So that's kind of my plan that I would like to do. And then I was also wondering how I could modernize her a little bit. Like, I love these ruffles, but I want to make her more me, you know, something of mine. So I was gonna modernize her with this really pretty part of a card that I cut up. And then I was thinking about maybe using some pearl stickles to put little earrings on her. And I also found a lot of like glitter and some like little flowers, so we can play around with different textures and things like that. And I think that she's just gonna be gorgeous and beautiful. So we'll see how it goes. But welcome, and that's what we're doing today. So we're going to be working with my main art journal, which is the one that has my sea design, the crazy laughing clowns. Got some plants, some hand studies. We've got the cool Ravenclaw napkin drill. And remember, this was a napkin. Looked pretty good. The only thing is I should have put glue underneath these stickers because part of them popped up a little bit. But it kind of gives it more of a vintagey design, so I'm not terribly worried about it. And then it also has our chicken cat in here, which is pretty funny. And we're gonna work in the back so that the front doesn't get too heavy. So with this one says the dissectors, and it was meant to be funny because somebody at work had said I ask a lot of questions because I have to dissect the data before it sticks. And I thought that was pretty funny. And then I have this like kind of classy like jazz piece here that I did. So we're just gonna use this back page here. And I think that's where we're gonna start our napkin journal today. And I'm gonna get a couple pieces, cookie sheet. That way we don't accidentally stick anything together that we don't mean to. Put that there like that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move my cards and stuff out of the way. And I'm gonna actually start, with my napkin. So this is my napkin that I chose. I really like the purples and I think it's gonna go really well with what I'm doing. Excuse me. So to do this, what you need to do is peel the napkin. And to do that, just look at a corner and usually you can see where it needs to come apart. Sometimes there's 2 layers, so just be aware of that. But in this case, this napkin is 1 layer, so we're okay. There we go. And it's quite a bit bigger than my actual piece. So I'll need to cut some down and decide how I want to do that. Let's see here. Maybe, how does it look from a corner perspective? Trying to decide if I want, which flowers I want more of in it, because this is pretty, but this is not really, I really like these flower bits here. So what I might do is do something like that. You know, or I could even cut out that little piece because that might be where our girl is to use. But I'd really at least like some of these flowers in there because the flowers are what drew me to this paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting. I think I'm gonna cut right about here. And then what I don't use, I'll just put in a separate pile to use for later. And that should be okay. So just very gently cut that. So it's about the size of our page there. It goes all the way over, which is great. And then I'm gonna just cut here. There we go. And if I don't quite get it the perfect length, that's okay. We can always put paint around the edges to kind of map it in a little. So then I have another decision to make. Do I want it like that or do I want it like this? This kind of looks a little bit more cohesive like this in my opinion. I might cut that a little bit straighter at the top there. That's a little bit angled, more angled than I would like. So I'm gonna, and like I said, if I don't make it all the way to the edge, it's okay. That's what we got paint for. Okay. So then the pieces that I am not able to finish using, I'm just gonna fold those up. And I'll set them to the side for now. I'll probably put them with my other napkins. And these napkins I just got in a pack on Amazon. You can buy them for like, I don't know, 10 bucks or something. Something like that. Let's see, so I'm gonna look again, and then I cut it down. Do I like it like this? Or do I like it like this? I still think that's gonna be too much at the bottom there. So I think I'm gonna do it like this. And then I'm gonna take my matte medium, and I'm gonna go grab my matte medium paintbrush. For my matte medium, I just use a regular paintbrush that's still kind of floppy-ish. I just make sure that I wash it like with hot water before it dries all the way, and it seems to save the brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually matte medium the page itself first, and then I'll put this on and matte medium it down. Once it sticks down, that's it. This is like tissue paper. So it's not going to come back up no matter what we want to do to it. So I'm just gonna open that up, and then I'm just gonna start slathering this down. And I wanna go kind of fast so it doesn't dry all the way, because this is a pretty big space. We just don't want it to dry too early because we want our paper to stick. And you can kind of tell by the light where it's shiny is where your matte medium is, and where it isn't is where you need some. So do it as fast as you can, kind of thing, because it is glue, so it does dry. And matte medium kind of dries a little bit fast, in my opinion, too. Like, it has a good length of time for it. It's not something that's going to take forever to dry. So you just want to make sure got nice and smooth down. And then I'm just going to really gently put this over it and smooth it as much as I can. And then this is thin, so all you gotta do is go right over it and do the decoupage. And it is a napkin, so it's gonna be really hard to get it as flat as you can. You just kind of gotta go with it. And try not to go crazy if it's not as straight as you would like, because you'll rip it. You don't want to do that. So I'm just going to keep going. And once again, you're just going to go kind of fast, because I just want it down. It's a very beautiful napkin. I really like that design. Whoever bought these as just napkins, I bet would be very pleased, because I'm sure that whenever they sell sets like this, they actually go to real napkins too, and they just probably pull some aside and they're like, yeah, we know people like art, so we'll just double use this. At least that's what I would do, because that's the smart thing. I'm just gonna look around for anywhere that doesn't look super smooth, and I'm just gonna lay it down as flat as I can. And now that's stuck to it. So I'm just gonna make sure my corners are down okay. And then I'm gonna go rinse off my brush, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back from rinsing my brush. And one thing I'm gonna do real quick is just make sure it's dry. So I'm just gonna blow dry it real quick. There we go, just to give it a quick little hello. So it is still a little wet, but I think it's gonna be fine. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of do a loop around the background with the paint, just to kind of really make sure that that napkin stays down. So I've got myself a little paint tray, and then I like using acrylic paint, and my favorite is Liquitex. So I've got a little bit of pink here. And I've also got some purple. So those are gonna look really pretty together. And I'm not gonna use as much as I just poured. I need to work on not pouring so much. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make like a little border with it. So maybe I'll just kind of paint over it like this. And what we're doing here is we're getting all the edges of the napkin to lock it down a bit. Plus it just kind of gives it a bit of volume. You know, gives your eye a little bit more stuff to stare at here. And then whatever I don't use, I can use one of my desk journals and just slap it in there. I think last week at some point I showed you one of my paint desk journals where I just use it to put extra paint in. It's probably what I'll do with all this. It'll probably take up a whole journal page because I'm really terrible at over pouring. But see, look at how nice that looks already. It looks really pretty. And that purple and that pink really go together. And it really kind of goes with the design. So I'm definitely liking the colors that we're getting. Just go like that. Kind of gives it like a vintage vibe too, which I like because to me these are very vintage cards that I'm using for this. I was actually really thrilled. I found a booth at a thrift store that was selling those cards for like $1 each. I'll have to look on those to see if those were some of my taller ones. But yeah, I was thrilled, especially with how pretty they are. Because I like, you know, finding a good bargain because art sometimes is not cheap. There we go. That looks really pretty. So give me one moment to wash my... Well, actually, we can get our desk journal out real quick. And while that's drying itself, let's see a desk journal so we can whip some of that paint on there without wasting it. So I'm just going to grab probably this one. I haven't done this one as much. This one is the bottom half of my art journal magazine. And really the only place I've painted in it is this page here. So I could probably use the pink and the purple for that. And I can either finish painting this page here or I can start anew, so I'll probably start in the back of it. I think I'll be fine. And all I'm doing is I'm just slopping my additional paint so I don't feel like I'm a paint waster. Slopping it down, and if I'm worried about getting it on the table, just get a cookie sheet real quick, put underneath it. It's like I said, not the best at that, which is fine. So I'm just slopping it down here. I'm gonna grab the pink too. It'll just be a really girly pink and purple page. Yeah, I'm glad I put that down because I am slopping it. I knew I would. Just like that. And it looks like I'm not quite covering the entire page with it, which is fine because maybe that's where I end up putting something on that page eventually when I work with these, because I would like to eventually do a little bit of collaging in them. Maybe not anything spectacular, but you know. So that kind of gets us some use out of that page, and then I'll just set it over in the corner to dry, and then I'll go and wash my hands. All right, so I've got our napkin back up here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go around it and dry it again, because I haven't hit it yet with the paint on it. So I just wanna make sure that that paint's not moving around because it is already where I'd like it to be. So we've got that taken care of now. And then we have to kind of decide where we want things and what layers we want things in. So I know for sure that I would like this behind the girl somewhere because I want that to be part of the hair. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cut out that section of this card so that I can fussy cut out that fan. And while we're doing that, it's also gonna give our paper a little bit more time to dry. Okay. So there we go. And we can save our cool fan for another day. And I'm gonna start kind of cutting out this fan here. Now I know it's gonna be behind my girl, so I don't have to worry about some of this stuff not showing. It's gonna be fine. I am gonna cut some of the flowers out because those flowers do match the same ones that are in my girl's hair. So I don't mind those flowers being there. Round that off a bit, that looks silly. There we go. And then that looks good there. And then over here, we can just cut that down just a little bit. And like I said, I don't think most of this is going to show, which is fine. So now the other thing I have to look at is I have to see if the whole thing is going to fit, and it's not. So I need to kind of cut off a small piece, it looks like, over here. So let's kind of see. Well, I might be able to get it down. Huh, I think I might actually be able to get the whole thing down. Okay, lovely. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out my matte medium again. And I got to go get my brush because I had just washed it because I didn't want it to dry up while we're waiting. Got it. So I'm just going to give it a quick dry real quick. Just drying it with a paper towel. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap down some of the matte medium up here at the top, and then I'm going to put this down on top of it and then slather some more. So we're just going to get it all nice and gooey so that it's ready for more friends to stick with it. Like that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to slather it on the back of this too. I want to move kind of quickly because it is glue. And if I get it on my fingers, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Alright, so I've got that now. And I'm going to see if I can line that up again. So if I can get it all on there, that'd be great. Oh, we're up a little bit high. So maybe about right there. And I'm just gonna squish it down. Oh no, we got a little bit of the paint on there, that's okay. We'll give it some va-boom. All right, so we've got this down, and then we're going to lather over it. I'm not gonna scrape too much on this one. Usually I would scrape, but I'm worried because this is over a napkin, so it's going to have a bit of texture anyway. So I'm gonna not really worry about that and more focus on just getting it down. So there are definitely some parts here that do not want to be down. And I did get some paint on it that probably wasn't super dry, and that's okay. So as you can see, it's just kind of giving it some extra color. So I'm not terribly worried about that. Okay, So I've got that, and maybe I will scrape just a little bit, but not a lot. And I'm gonna be really hecka gentle about it, because I just don't want too much going on. And if I'm super worried about it getting gloppy or anything, I can just simply take a paper towel and just kind of pat it like that. Just being careful that the paper towel is not gonna get stuck down. That looks nice. Yep. And then next we want our girl. So for her, she is part of a card here also. So what I can do is probably just rip this one off, because this one's not attached by much. Here we go. So ripped it out a bit. And then I know that I'm not going to keep the ruffles, so I'm probably going to go ahead and cut the ruffles off. Whoops. And go from there. So I'm going to cut the ruffles off, and I'm going to cut the top flowers off, probably because I want it to be that in her hair, not the ruffles. So I'm just going to kind of fussy cut that out real quick. As you can see, it was a little bit easier to cut on one side than the other. So what I might even do is I might even go like this and adjust that curl to where it looks like it wasn't even tampered with at all. And then I'm gonna do the same thing up here with these flowers. And see, these are kind of those, like, I don't know what they are, pansies maybe? So it's gonna look really nice with it. And just kind of rounding it off a bit, like that. And I can even do a little bit on the sides if I wanted. There we go, something like that. That looks pretty good. And then we can actually even keep the ruffles on the Mother's Day. We'll keep it with the rest of the card. That way, if I want to use it for something else, I can. But my idea is to kind of have it like this. And I might actually cut out this little blue part. That blue part doesn't look very good with it. So maybe to tie it in even more so that you could see that it's supposed to be part of her headdress, we'll just cut off this little blue piece here in the middle of these flowers. Something like that. And then you can see the fan through it. Or, because there's that pretty flower there, I can even cut that flower just off. And do something like this to where the flower of the fan is actually in there. And I think that's going to be really pretty. Yeah, I like that. I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's get some more glue here, and I'm just going to put some glue underneath it. Just like that. And then I'm going to, let's get some glue on the back here first. I almost forgot to do that. That would have been bad. All right. Because then it probably wouldn't have stayed, and I would have been like, what's happening? All right. So I'm just going to do something like that. And then I'm going to put her in here. Like that. And then give us some more glue at the top here to just make sure she's sticking down. Get her to go down a lot. And then I think, because like I said, everything is so gentle on this one, I'm just gonna pat it down. Just kind of go like that. Yeah. And that seems to be working out pretty good. because no matter what, it's going to have a texture because of the napkin, but we can at least get it to go down a bit. There we go. So that looks really pretty now. And then I'm just gonna wash my glue brush and I'll be right back. Just kidding, I totally forgot that I was gonna have this on her too. So let me just measure real quick. So like right out there. Can be a little bit shorter. And maybe like this instead. Something like that. I just think that'll look really pretty. So we'll glue this one down with the rest of the glue that I have on here. And that should be okay. I'm not gonna put glue on the top of this one because I don't want to cover up that glitter. But we're gonna modernize our girl a little bit. There we go. I'm just gonna hold it for a minute. And then let go. That looks pretty good. So now she's got that pretty glittery stripe instead of a ruffle. Okay, sorry about that. I got a phone call that I needed to answer. But what I think is, now that I've got this piece on here, I kind of want to put something else there too, because there's this weird like blank space here that's bothering me. So I'm actually going to use the flower that I cut from her hair up here and put it down here to kind of tie it in a little bit better. And then I was thinking about maybe putting some butterflies on each side of it. That way it'll maybe kind of give the idea of a dress and at least make it to go down to here. So I think what I'm going to do is put this flower here like this. And then I was thinking I would use these like kind of glittery, pretty like butterflies and put them on each side of her. I am going to glue them down though, just because I've gotten to where I now no longer trust that stickers are going to stay where I put them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on each side here and just rub it in with my fingers. Okay, and then I'm just gonna kind of go like this. And also kind of gives it like a little 3D moment, which is nice, like that. And then I'll get a second butterfly. We'll do probably this one. I'm gonna do the same thing just to make sure that it actually stays. I'm just using Elmer's glue. I think I've said before, probably several times now, but I'm really comfortable with Elmer's glue because I've been using it since I was a child. So I feel like most of the time I understand it, what it can and can't do. In this case, I think it'll be fine. So I'm just gonna go like that with it, stick those down. So now it not only has like a little bit of a 3D moment, but also it just doesn't look so weird and bare there. I feel like that's gonna match the background a lot more. And then what we're gonna do is I wanted to use some more textures. So I've got these and I've also got these. And I think these are gonna go on last, but we're gonna use these first. Ooh, what about a butterfly up there though? Maybe just to tie in the butterflies so they're not so random. Let's do this one. I kind of like how different this one is compared to the other stuff. So I'm gonna take it and put some more glue on here. And just like that. And then I think I'm just gonna kind of put it there so that there's just a little, oops, oh no. My butterfly is stuck. There we go. Almost stuck the wings down. Go like that so that maybe it won't. There we go. But I figured maybe that way it could just kind of tie it together a little bit better. And then I'm gonna zoom in just a wee bit here. That way we can see more of what we're doing. And I'm gonna look for some sequins in here that might work out for us. Like anything kind of flowery. Like something like this there maybe. And I wonder if I can find a flatter version of that one. Not really. Okay. Let's see here. And these sequins are quite a bit, like, there's just like a crazy amount of them. There's a bunch. So here's a little flower we could use. Let's see, there's all kinds of different ones in here. We could maybe use that one and then put something on top of it. That would be fun. I really like those little orange ones, so I might do a couple of those. Let's see. That one's got a sun on it, but that could be fun. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't overdo it. Let's stick with those 4. And then we'll see what that looks like before we add more. I'm gonna set these guys over to the side. I've got shells and fans and stuff too, and I've got more butterflies, but I think we've got quite a few butterflies on there, so I don't know that we need more of those. Got leaves in here. I don't know, there's just like a whole bunch of them, they're all different. All right. So let's kind of see what we've got going on with that. And I'm just going to use my Elmer's glue for these as well. Oops. So let's go ahead and move these down. I'm going to glue that big one down first, I think, this one here. Not really sure what side's supposed to be the front, so I'm going to say that this is the back. And I'm just going to give it a hefty amount. And I'm going to stick her down. I'm just gonna hold it. Like that. And then I want to put one here because I think that'll look really nice. So I'm gonna do that again. Put that there. Maybe put a second one over here. It wants to stick to my finger. I could put probably even a 3rd one there, that way it all ties together. Something like that, because that looks pretty charming. And then what we can do now is, I don't think I'm going to use these 2, so then I'll find some flowers that are in my beads over here that we can also stick down. So I think some like regular pink ones would be rather nice for that. So let's take a look here. Ooh, and I've got some like really pretty roses. Like this rose is very pretty. So we'll definitely use that one. Ooh, I've got a second rose that's kind of a nice color like that too. I don't know, I definitely want to use this one though. Maybe put it there. We'll set it to the side. Got some of these like little daisy looking ones. Oh, here's a purpley one too. A purpley rose. So I'm gonna set some of these roses to the side in case we decide to use them. But yeah, here's a purpley one. Another daisy. That's a yellow daisy. I don't know about that color in there. Let's do this one. Kind of pearlescent. This kind of purple one. It's got some like, I want to say, pearly look to it. Oh, we could use some of these pearls for the earrings too. So we could do, there's a pearl. I think I've got some colored pearls in here too. That could be cool. Yeah, like this one's got, it's pearly, but it's got some color to it. Or here's a heart. Like heart ones could be cute too. I'll put that out. I wonder if I can find another one of those hearts because I actually really like that. Oh, here's one. So here's another one of those hearts. That one's more blue color though. I wonder if I have another one that's more purple. There's another one of the pearly ones that's colorful. Either way, it'll be pretty. Let's see. I'm trying to see because there's just so much in this bag. There's a bunch. Oh. Another one of these like little pearly ones. Okay. I think we've got enough of those. I definitely want to use this pink one. This pink one's gorgeous, so it's going. I'm gonna put it right here, I think. And then we could do this one over here if we wanted to. There we go. And then I have one last one I could do over here. We're just kind of filling in some of the spots where it doesn't quite match up. That way you can't see it. It's kind of the idea anyway that I was having. Let's do, I really like these hearts. I think I'm gonna do hearts for her ears. Because why not? You know, I want it to be really cute and girly. There we go, something like that. And then here's this other one. Like that. And then we could put something in the middle there so it doesn't just have kind of that weird hole there from being a bead. So I'm going to do this to cover that up, plus it'll kind of tie in the pearls a bit. And then I've got some of these other ones. Let's do a purpley one. We'll put that one here because there's not much going on right there. And then maybe one of these here. Right. So I think that's all I really wanted to do to it besides signing it. So let me get a pen real quick. I'll get a pasta to sign this with. And then I just sign it with my initials. And today's date. Like that. And there we have it. We started out with several cards and turned it into something special. Like, I think that it's really pretty. It still has a vintage vibe, but it's also a little bit more modern. And it's really girly. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully when oh, excuse me. Hopefully when I see you guys, I'll be doing a little bit better health-wise. But I hope everybody has a good day. Bye.